Well, first of all, let me preface this by saying any country, and I repeat, any country that is found, involved in transnational or extra territorial killing should be held accountable. But that said, time and again, the Canadian Prime Minister has used the term credible allegations, and in the clip that you played, credible reasons. I find that ridiculous. I mean, why doesn't he use the word evidence? Why doesn't he say there is evidence or we have presented evidence to the Indian government and then we can talk from there? Instead, the whole thing now seems like a political ploy. He is dependent on, the Sikh constituency in Canada for his political survival. That we know through the numbers in Parliament. And he goes on repeating this credible allegations. And I think yesterday an Indian diplomat actually, smacked him back, saying there are credible rumors that there was, cocaine. I mean, I find the level of discourse really going down. But he said when Trudeau went to Delhi, and that's why he missed many of his G20 engagements. So, I mean, it does not behove the prime minister of a country to, hang this on the basis of credible allegations. I mean, a basic crime reporter would know. You produce evidence, you talk about evidence. And that's something the Canadian Prime Minister has not done. And I think that does great disservice to him. Even assuming, I mean, let's say, there was some, government fingerprint. You take that up in through private channels, through diplomatic channels. India and Canada are not enemies. They are, responsible countries. They're democracies. You first engage the government. And the government of India has clearly said that no evidence has been presented to them. So I just find this whole thing very shifty. And to this day, it's now been more than, a week, 2 weeks. And there's still no talk of evidence. And understandably, the mood in New Delhi is angry. Because for almost 40 years now, the government of India, successive government cutting across party lines, have pointed out that Canada has been hosting this very marginal, violent separatists agitating for, so-called Khalistan, which does not have mainstream support in India, not even in the Punjab. I mean, remember, India had a Sikh prime minister for 10 years. So Khalistan is such a marginal issue, and for Canada to, play host to this violent separatists, and within Canada itself, there have been clashes between, the marginal violent separatist Sikhs and the moderate Sikhs. So, I mean, Canada really ought to re-examine its whole policy about, hosting these groups. Some of these groups have proved to be dangerous, as far back as the 1980s. Indira Gandhi, then Indian Prime Minister, asked for extradition and reining in of these Khalistani extremists, some of whom went on to blow up a plane, an Air India plane, in which 329 people were killed. Most of them were Canadian citizens. So I find this incredibly irresponsible on part of Canada, and I think the global opinion is now turning against Canada. There are very few takers for this whole idea of accusing India without presenting evidence and then hanging everything on the basis of credible allegations.